Phase Zero Season 4, Episode 28 starts right now. Welcome to Sean Brandon Davis, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hi, everybody.
Aaron Perrine.
What's going on?
And Jamie Jurek is once again not here today. She is under the weather. If you've been seeing her on Twitter, you know she came down with the 2020 special. So she is recovering, hopefully feeling better very soon. We will get her reaction to the Agatha trailer at some point once she's all good. We're sending our best to Jamie. You should too. Send her some love on social media. Today's Marvel show, we've got X-Men 97 news, Spider-Man Noir live action updates, a Cap 4 photo, maybe an Avengers quote from Ryan Reynolds, some Deadpool Wolverine stuff, of course. And we're going to take a deep dive into Agatha All Along's trailer. We had an immediate reaction episode where we shared our quick looks at some Easter eggs and thoughts on the trailer. But we are going to now that we've had a time to really look at it, see what other people are seeing and all that stuff, we're going to take a deep dive into it. So we'll do all of that. But Aaron, how you feeling today?
All right. Pretty good day.
Jenna, you good?
Yeah, this is an interesting smattering of news, especially in the lead up to Comic-Con. So I'm excited to break it all down.
Any day now, there should be an interesting smattering of news about the San Diego Comic-Con schedule, which we should have something to say about, but I'm waiting for that to come out. So if you can't figure it out from that, well, you're just going to have to wait. But we have some cool stuff coming from Phase Zero that we are excited to talk about, but don't know when we can. All right, let's get started. X-Men 97. Season 3 has found its writer, Matthew Chauncey, who previously wrote What If? I'm a fan of Matthew Chauncey. Very nice, tall fella. Clearly writes good stuff because What If Season 2 is fantastic. And he's going to be writing X-Men 97. So I think that's cool. That does kind of tell me X-Men 97 Season 2 is still going to have Beau DeMayo's fingerprints all over it. Season 3, not so much, which puts Matthew Chauncey kind of in a really tough spot, in my opinion. Because if anything about Season 3 is not beloved, it's just going to be, this is because you don't have Beau DeMayo, rah! And if it's really good, people are just like, well, see, Beau DeMayo really did a good job to start this, so you just kind of care. It seems almost thankless, but I like Matthew Chauncey. I think this is cool news. And what do you guys think? Jenna, what do you think of this?
I agree that it's like a tall order for any showrunner to step into. I definitely don't envy him getting into this spot. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we still see like whatever the grand design Beau DeMayo had for the show like still happens. Like I'm sure there were story beats that were still planned for Season 3 and maybe whatever else beyond that before he got fired. So I'm sure it'll be an interesting mix, but it'll definitely be interesting to see if the show still keeps the spirit of what it has once Matt is the head writer. Like I'm hopeful of that. I know some parts of the fandom are a little less optimistic at this point, but it also just makes me happy that we know Season 3 is happening.
Yeah, Aaron, how you feeling about this news?
I mean, I echo some of the thoughts, but I just laugh at like suddenly What If Season 2 wasn't good? Like what? Like I don't understand. Like it's silly.
Show me.
I'm just saying, like if people are like, oh my god, it's gonna fall off in Season 3, like you've not seen episode of Season 2. What if Season 2 isn't good? Then what are you gonna do? What if we get Quantumania? Who knows? Nobody knows anything. So just watch it when it comes out. They're animating Season 2 right now. Casterina and everybody are doing the best they possibly can to deliver another episode. Exactly. Also, I agree with you, Geekfy. How far away is it? Because who knows? Literally, I don't think we're getting What If Season 2. I mean, we're getting What If Season 3 this year, right? Or supposedly. And then X-Men 97 Season 2 probably next year. And if you follow the development cycles of these things, what are we looking at? 26 at like the earliest for Season 3 of X-Men 97?
The way these streaming shows go.
Yeah.
I'm going to be...
It's not just a streaming thing, though. It's like animation. It just takes forever.
Y'all remember there's supposed to be a third Spider-Verse movie?
Yeah. They're animating that right now, too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's a huge lift as well.
That was supposed to come out like 22 years ago, wasn't it?
22 years ago.
I mean, we talked about it on the show a couple weeks ago, because when it was like, oh, are they rumored to be casting live-action Miles? It's like, if anything, it might be for that movie that we all forgot is in the works right now. So it's just a wild timetable.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, great. Listen, I give it a hard time because I I've lost interest in House of the Dragon because of how long it was between seasons, and that's me. That's not everybody. It's the Halo season 1 to season 2. Not that season 1 was great, season 2 was much better, but like these things taking so long in between, I lose interest myself. The momentum does not carry over the same. I've said it before. We used to get 23 episodes of Lost every single year. Now, granted, I know they're not movie quality. Sure, it's TV, and I'm fine with TV quality. It's still very good. As long as it's hitting a timetable, I'd rather have that. But it is what it is. We'll see what X-Men. I don't think X-Men 97 is going to be that far off, but I will forever joke about how shitty the release schedules are for streaming shows when they're not even close to a year in between. They're instead close to a decade in between.
I know
But yeah,
Aaron,
Matthew
the
Chauncey's gonna be great.
Bridgerton fan, has complained about that ad nauseum at this point.
It's 2 years. Hopefully Shonda writes was it Queen Charlotte season 2 to tide us over, because we ain't getting season 4 in 25. It's to be 26 probably. Poor
That's
Jess.
wild.
And she's just gonna have to just face questions wherever she appears in public. I hope she has like a bunker.
Mm.
The same thing. Feige's like, welcome. I hide down here too in my isolation chamber. Oh yeah, Severance got announced today. Season 2. It's coming next year.
That's right.
In
Yeah.
January. And poor Charlie and Patrick just been sitting there like,
Next
one
year's.
day.
Oh no, that's 2026. That's crazy.
Dear God.
Yeah.
You got Avengers 5, Toy Story 5, Shrek 5, all in 2026.
That Grogu movie.
New Hunger
Mandalorian,
Games.
Grogu.
Mandalorian is there.
So much stuff.
There's too
Ray
much stuff.
Palpatine's. All right, but we do have an Amazon show on the way.
That is right. In the absence of one Jamie Dirac, I'm happy to tell you that there is the live action Spider-Man Noir live action series starring Nicolas Cage coming. I don't know when. I think it's next year. We'll see. Tying into the discussion we're having right now. But in an interview with the New Yorker, Nick said that it's 8 episodes. And he's like also known as like 4 movies, which I laughed at. That's very funny. It's very silly. And we got some casting as well. New Girl fans rejoice. Lamar Morris is Robbie Robertson, which I'm like, wow, a character that I feel like should have occurred in much more fidelity in live action before now. And then you also have Brendan Gleeson as a villain. It'd be funny if he was just a character named Villain. Just a guy.
That's very
named Villain.
noir. That would be kind of on the nose in a way that would fit. I'm
There you
super
go.
excited about the Robbie Robertson casting. Like, that is inspired casting. And I agree with you. Like, that is a character that I feel like should have been in at least one of the live action Spider-Man trilogies at this point. Like, it's kind of nuts that this might be like the first time he's ever in live action. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it was in that same New Yorker interview, Nick Cage had a whole thing about like doing the 3D body scan that he's going to have to do for Noir. And he was like, I hate AI. I hope AI doesn't take everything over. And I'm like, I'm very happy that he did say that. And it was funny that Spider-Man Noir had to have something to do with it.
I think it's cool. I don't have much to say on this, I'll be honest. I'm very excited for the show because of Nicolas Cage and Spider-Man Noir. The Lamar Morris casting is also very exciting. 8 episodes, better than 6.
I'm just surprised it even ends up happening at all. I thought
that's what. Yeah,
get
that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'll believe this one when I see it. Like, even when I see a trailer, I'll still be like, "Are you sure?" But it's also Amazon / Sony.
I would like to say, Brandon,
We'll
right now the name of this thing is Noir. What do you handicap that this thing will be called Spider-Man Noir? There's no reason not to have the Spider-Man in front of it. It's silly to me.
I mean, it to me reinforces my theory that Sony isn't allowed to do anything with Spider-Man while they have a running deal with Marvel Studios. So
I was gonna say, is the TV rights technically at Marvel Studios because of like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? Like, is there something where they couldn't?
Animation.
That's true. Like, I'm sure there's some sort of legal document that proves one way or another, but I'm like 50-50 on whether or not we might actually get the Spider-Man subtitle on that show.
If you just call it Noir, you have lost a massive portion of your viewership out of the game.
Yeah.
Of the marketing.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I really think it's a legal thing. I mean, that is out. If it is not a legal thing, which if it is, good for you for making the most of your Spider-Man rights. Why not try it? If it's not a legal thing, it is absolutely stupid not to put Spider-Man in the title of this show. Stupid. There is no other way to put it. That is a terrible, awful, stupid marketing decision if you are allowed to put Spider-Man in the title and you don't.
Silly.
Anyway.
Take us to happier news, Brady. Take us to
Captain
happier
America
news.
4 dropped a photo for the 4th of July. We got a new look at the suit. I dig this suit, man. This is like a combination of like Steve Rogers Winter Soldier Age of Ultron suit with the Falcon suit with the straps on the shoulders for the jetpack. I dig this suit. I think this is cool. This got me excited for this movie, even a little bit more than that footage did. Like not more than the footage was certainly a bigger chunk of excitement, but this additionally on top of that chunk put a little pepper of excitement on top of it. So, what do you guys think of this suit?
Jim.
Oh, I was letting you go because I know Sam's your boy.
I just I don't know. I always miss that we didn't get anything else besides what, an episode and a half max of the suit from that run, but you know, everybody loves like this. But it's funny, it feels like a little bit of a hat to me because it's like a movie about stepping into that legacy in full, right? And then it's just like, hey, look, it's basically Steve Rogers' suit from before, but with a jet, like BD said, with a jetpack and Red Wing attached to it. So also the weird thing is that apparently from the McDonald's stuff, there are other parts of this suit that we still have not seen in live action yet. So we still have not seen all of it. So appreciate, like, gonna do that.
Interesting. I agree with all of you. I like this suit. I think it is kind of interesting how much it seems reminiscent of Steve's, and like I would like to see a suit for Sam that is just wholly his own and not feeling derivative in any sort of way. But I like it. I think it hits the needle on the head, and it is Captain America. It's also funny. I saw a tweet earlier this week that was like the events of the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier and of I think Far From Home or the beginning of No Way Home both happened on the same day and happened around this week, like in real time. So like, man, if you existed in the MCU this week, Twitter would probably be nuts, like wild.
But how can you not be derivative with a suit if it's still Captain America? I know it's Sam Wilson versus Steve Rogers, but Captain America is the suit, is the mantle. So I think also a darker, grittier suit is the thing they're going to want to market on this. And I like the white suit. I have the Hot Toys figure. I thought it looked awesome. For the most part, I thought like the ears and some of it looked cheesy as hell, but it was really cool to see it realized in live action. I loved that moment. I loved seeing it in action, seeing it fly around. But I think there's no doubt they're trying to market this one, at least based on the footage they showed at CinemaCon, as a grittier, tougher, more grounded type of Captain America, type of Marvel movie, going back to Winter Soldier, and the bright white suit fitting into a Winter Soldier tone movie, that wouldn't work. So I get it. So while I like the white suit, like you guys just said, and I would have liked to see more of it to get more of my money's worth out of the figure I bought, honestly. But I think that I really like this suit. I think it's really cool.
Jenna, is it Secret Wars from when we were like teenagers or so, where they all go on like a secret mission, and like is it Latveria, where they all have to have like stealth suits? I think that like beat for beat is what's going on here.
Oh, absolutely. Which based off of like what I've potentially maybe heard about like and stuff, that you don't seem very far off at all.
Interesting. There's a big rumor on the Twitter's world that a Captain America 4 trailer is coming tomorrow. We have no idea if that's true. I have tried to find out. I have no idea. But obviously, if you watch Phase Zero, you're a big enough Marvel fan to have probably seen that rumor on Twitter. There's no need to ignore it. If that's true, we will have an immediate reaction episode of Phase Zero as soon as possible as to when that trailer goes live. So I'm setting an alarm probably for every hour starting at 6 a.m. And I will check to see if the trailer has been released, go back to sleep. If it has, go throw my whole setup down here and call Jenna and call Aaron and say, hey guys, wake up, Santa's here. And we will try to crank out an episode as fast as possible just to be among the first talking about it, sharing our reactions without having too much time to think about it and lose the authenticity right there in that immediate moment. So everybody go to bed early tonight just in case.
The chat wants to make sure Aaron is there. Like,
it's so funny. They don't know the schedule. I am awake at 6 a.m. everybody. At 6 a.m. I'm not Jamie. Yeah, every day that we have to work at the desk. I'll be here.
Oh, hell no. Couldn't be me. I don't wake up at 6 a.m. unnaturally. Not me.
Yeah.
I am going to get coffee. Randy, I am not going to bike and go get coffee. I will not do that again. That is true. That's absolute fact.
What we need on Phase Zero is a coffie sponsor.
We do.
To be honest with
Lord.
you. Like, Folgers, put something in our cup. Let's go. Because we sometimes are up here early at weird hours, and these next 2 weeks are about to be insane. We are about to be working on Phase Zero, because when we do work at Phase Zero, it's kind of additional work on top of the work we already do at Comic Book. So we love doing this, but it's not, I always say this, it's not hard work, but it's a lot of work. So like we talk about Marvel, so we can't complain about the work we're doing, but sometimes the hours add up pretty quick, and they're about to start adding up, because in the next few weeks, here's our schedule. I'm actually going to pull up the spreadsheet for this real quick before we take our break and talk about Agatha. Our schedule for the next couple weeks is packed, and I'm going to try to only read the things we can say.
I was about to say.
And not the things. Okay. Today is July 10th, regular news show. On Monday, July 15th, we're doing the X-Men movie rankings episode. Following Wednesday, 7/17, that is our regular news show. 7/22, Monday, we're doing our San Diego Comic-Con preview episode, predictions for what Marvel is going to bring, and maybe some other things we're just looking forward to at Comic-Con, because yes, Marvel is going. There's going to be lots of Marvel, but there's a lot of Marvel, a lot of other stuff to marvel at Comic-Con, so maybe we'll just share some of the things we're excited about. Later that day, we will have an immediate reaction, spoiler-free, to a movie that's coming out. We're going to figure out how that's going to work. That one might just be Cam Hayward and I, because that's one of those we want to get it out as fast as possible. We might just record it in person, because we're going to be all around the country, probably seeing a movie and figuring that out. But the Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler-free reaction will be coming that week. Wednesday, 7/24, news show. Here's the thing. Jenna and I will be on our way to Comic-Con at the regularly scheduled time of the news show that Wednesday. So maybe we're going to pre-tape it. Maybe we'll do it later at night, just in case things start coming out. We'll figure that out. We haven't figured out how we're going to do that yet. That's my producer brain that has to figure it all out. 7/26, Friday, the day Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, we will be releasing our Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler-filled review. We still don't know if we're going to record that live or pre-tape it. It all depends on when all four of us are able to see the movie, what our availability is, because we will be in San Diego. Jenna and I will be. Aaron and Jamie will be in LA, so we might have to do that. Like, Jenna and I will be in our respective hotel rooms. Aaron and Jamie will be in their respective homes. But Friday morning, you can bet there's a Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler-filled discussion. Saturday night, the very next night, after the Marvel Studios panel in Hall H on July 27th, we will have our Marvel Hall H discussion recap episode of Phase Zero, but that's going to be a little bit later than immediately after the panel wraps, because I presume, I don't know, hopefully there is like a Marvel press line that we're working and doing interviews, and once that wraps, we will be live on Phase Zero. On Sunday, there is something happening we're not allowed to say yet. On Monday, and then we're not going to have a bonus episode that Monday. We will have one that releases, but it's going to be recorded prior. Can't say what it is yet. So that's our bonus episode for that Monday. And then Wednesday, we're back to our regular scheduled news show. And on August 1st, by the way, I'm working on something really special. 10 years of Guardians. Guardians of the Galaxy turns 10 on August 1st. Crazy, that's already turning 10. So we're going to do like a kind of review, and we might have some special surprises in that episode that I'm happy to say are coming together decently well. Still really trying to push and maybe be a little too annoying with some folks to try to get some cool stuff for it. But yeah, so that's our insane schedule. I think we should make a graphic of that to release so people can see it, because we are working hard on Phase Zero, and we get to do this because you all listen to it, you all watch our show and subscribe to our channel. It's almost at 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. We really appreciate that. So anyway, that's our schedule. See how long that took just to tell you the schedule. Imagine what we're doing behind the scenes to make it all work. Anyway, that's our schedule. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Agatha All Along trailer in some deep details and talk all about that. So great opportunity to help us grow that subscriber number. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, youtube.com/c/Phase Zero. Share our show with a friend during the break. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to Phase Zero. This is the Agatha All Along trailer deep dive. We saw the trailer on Monday. We have an immediate reaction episode available, but this is going to be a bit more poignant of a discussion, a bit more deeper dive into the trailer. First, I want to start. We've all shared our thoughts on the trailer. What are you guys seeing in terms of reactions to the Agatha All Along trailer? Is it positivity? Is it negativity? What kind of stuff is in your feeds about this one? Jenna, what are you seeing?
I feel like I'm seeing a lot of positivity. I know it's also, I
Mhm.
just follow a lot of Marvel stands, so they naturally are very excited. But even it's permeating to people who don't normally talk about the MCU. And I think this is something I've said, like, as the cast of the show was first coming together, of like, you put Patty LuPone and Aubrey Plaza and Catherine Hahn in anything, and there is a huge subset of people who will just watch that on principle. And I think the fact that this show happens to be a Marvel show is just like a bonus on top of that.
Aaron, what are you seeing?
The second they start putting out the pumpkin spice stuff, the morale will be at fever pitch. It is already very positive in my corner too, Jenna. Like I like people who do not do this, like the sort of spooky-ish tone. They like Catherine Hahn, they like Aubrey Plaza a lot. I've seen all your comments. Apparently, a ton of people watch Legion. A lot of people have digested Legion over the last couple of months and years. So on rewatches through social media. So yeah, I think it's pretty positive. Even our friend over at Forbes wrote something about it. So apparently it's getting people to talk about it.
A lot of people listening wanted us to know that Aubrey Plaza played a version of Shadow King on Legion, because we
Yes.
did not say that on Monday, and a lot of people wanted us to say it. We're sorry. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched Legion. I'm just gonna be completely transparent with you. Maybe I need to before this comes out. I probably won't, but I might need to. I'm deep in the morning show right now. I'm keeping up with the Acolyte, and I'm trying to catch up on House of the Dragon. So Legion might be on the back burner for a while. But I'm seeing a lot of positivity. I've been on Facebook a lot lately. I've been getting more and more active on Facebook, and I get some comments there about the trailer not being great. But I like responded. I'm like, are you like? I think you're just hating for the sake of hating, because most of it is extremely positive, and it just looks good. So, like, literally, it looks good. Like, the
Yeah.
look of the show is good. Not only does the show look interesting. So yeah, so it's been pretty positive, and I think it's no surprise the Phase Zero audience enjoys it. But all right, let's take a deep dive into this trailer here. It seems that the crux of the show is going down the witch's road. The more and more I've thought about this, I've watched heavy spoilers. I've watched New Rock Stars. I've watched Screen Crush. I've watched as many people as I can, and just gone on Twitter and watched this trailer myself a million times now to try to find as many things that I might be missing or find new things myself. And I like the idea that she's going down Witch's Road and possibly finding Wanda. I actually want to pause it right here, because I have a bunch of bullet points in here, but I think that I want to start with this as my big theory for the show, that this might be a Wanda corpse here, this Jane Doe, which is very great call. This is intentionally, this is so Mayor of Easttown, Jenna, like you said on Monday, that it is almost shot for shot, like outfit for outfit, Mayor of Easttown. I was unfamiliar with that show, but you called that out and you were spot on. But I think this might be a Wanda Maximoff body here, but it's actually a projection from Agatha Harkness, because if you go back, one thing Doctor Strange said once upon a time, it's very difficult to break a dead man's spell, and Wanda left Agatha under a spell at Westview, and then she presumably died in the Wundagore Darkhold Castle collapse. And now Agatha is trying to break that spell, and this is a manifestation of seeing Wanda is dead and needing to break that spell. And that's what's happening here. The Witch's Road is kind of a test at each destination that she has to pass to ultimately break the spell and break free. And it seems like each test is almost time period themed, which takes us back to episodes of WandaVision. You see outfits that show time periods, you see scenery that seems to be from time periods. And I think that the crux of this show is Agatha breaking free of that. If not, maybe doing it right away. But this body at the beginning is a manifestation, maybe not a real version of Wanda, but a manifestation of Wanda showing Agatha that she has died and she is now needs to break free of it. And also, the cop is a Westview resident. The cop who first greets her is Herb, the neighbor, played by David Payton. And Deborah Jo Rupp, Miss Hart, is also in the trailer, who we don't know to be a witch. So there's clearly lots of Westview happening here, lots of projecting from Agatha, probably, and maybe the results of Wanda going down the mountain are influencing the entirety of this show. Am I on to something?
I absolutely think you are. And I think the Witch's Road as a concept in the comics is so heady and like interesting that like you can't immediately just show it as is. And I think using television and using these projections and using these like stylistic choices could ultimately really work in their favor of like not only introducing it to the audience, but like introducing it to Agatha and having this journey work. I've also seen people point out if this is Wanda's corpse, the outfit looks an awful lot like 838 Wanda, like when she's helping her kids in Multiverse of Madness. So like maybe there's something to that too. It doesn't look exactly like the same outfit, but it looks close enough that that could still be something.
Yeah.
Fun stuff with like the staging too, because I mean, like she's barefoot the entire time of like Multiverse of Madness. But also, if you pay attention when they show them walking down Witch's Road in that deleted footage or in this, they're all barefoot while they're walking Witch's Road too. So it's like linked to that in that way, and the stuff with the Darkhold weird, like you've been playing in Cole, is going on as well. I really like as well, like subtly. I didn't think of this till Voss like pointed out, but I should have because I've seen it recently. The Wiz like implications of this, not the Wizard of Oz, but the Wiz 1978 movie stuff of like the trials at different points in the road is nice there too, and each of them, because I guess isn't the Witch's Road like something that you're missing is what you get at the end of it, right, Jenna?
Yes.
Like that stuff all makes sense. It all tracks very much. Also, you should just go watch The Wiz. It's delightful.
And the Witch's Road in the comics has Agatha involved. Like the ghost of Agatha is guiding Wanda through it, and at the end of it, she finds her mother Natalia. Now, obviously, this is not going to be that story. It's clearly just influenced by that, which I think is kind of very common for Marvel Studios and Marvel Television. But the road, like I said, if you look at this, it goes to various houses. There's like a house from the 80s. There's like a castle. There's seemingly different destinations, and at each destination, there seems to be an event or a test or a curse that needs to be broken. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how the path down the Witch's Road and how much of the episode, like, is the show going to be structured by a test each episode, a destination on the Witch's Road in each episode? Will more than one happen? We'll see. All right, the dates on the toe tag. Let's actually go back to that real quick. We thought this was a library card for the Darkhold, right? Because at the bottom it says the Westview Library. Now, this to me is going back to my theory from the beginning of this that it's all a projection. Because I think that probably a Westview Library card is more readily available, maybe not literally, possibly literally, but maybe not literally, maybe in Agatha's mind to project. And it's got the dates on there, and it's got the Wanda Maximoff body. So either somebody's renting this corpse, like right, because it's a toe tag. We see the toe tag in the wider shot. Or this is a library card for the Darkhold that just ended up somehow being relevant here. But it seems like maybe people are renting the body. I don't know. I did do a little homework on the dates. A couple I came up with, couple commenters and things like that. February 16th, Elizabeth Olsen's birthday. August 28th, Jack Kirby's birthday. June 2nd, Kevin Feige's birthday. January 21st. Well, that was the second episode of WandaVision, right? That was actually the day before.
No, that was the premiere, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, WandaVision premiere date. I actually had that written down. My second guess. No, it premiered on January 15th.
Okay.
So January.
Would that technically be, or no? Because I guess Agatha was in the first episode. Then never mind. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that would be one day before the second episode of WandaVision. I don't know what the January 21st date is. I wrote the WandaVision premiere date in the notes, and as I said it, I was like, wait a second. That was the 15th. December 28th, which was actually listed before January 21st in here. Stan Lee's birthday, and October 13th is obviously the day Wanda signed out the body, which could be something to do with Multiverse of Madness, because there's a calendar later in the episode that has that is a November of 2024 calendar, and Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be set in late 2024. So who knows? Any thoughts on the dates? Anything we want to discuss here before we keep it rolling?
I'm happy that Jack Kirby is included in the birthdays, in the Easter eggs. This makes me really, really sad that Jamie was not on Monday's episode, because I feel like as we were all speculating about the dates, she would have immediately been like Elizabeth Olsen's birthday, and we would have known like live in the moment. But yeah, this is a really cool kind of connection. I like when shows do stuff like this.
It's fun. They know we're gonna look at it, you know? They know we're gonna look at it, so why not just put something meaningful there? Or like not meaningful to the story, but meaningful to like the fans, something to find. Uh,
I love Stamina MC's comment from YouTube about that the signature is actually William Maximoff instead of Wanda. Because Billy, and I
Oh.
was like, oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. And the feet don't have the weird Darkholdy like effects on them either. His feet look weird. Feels strange talking about feet on a podcast. Feels a little strange saying to a
Hey.
microphone.
Free feet on the pod. We get a group which I believe is like the Seven Devils is what according to New Rockstar's breakdown via Twitter Scarlet Witch updates. There's a group called the New Rocks the New Rock. There's a group called the Seven Devils, the Salem Seven, which is not to be confused with the Salem's Seven from comics, which is a group that was in Fantastic Four books and also involved Agatha Harkness, but it's a bunch of very different characters. These characters, according to Twitter stuff, are going to be able to transform into animals like coyotes and such, but also one of them, presumably their leader, can transform into a cicada. And if you remember in WandaVision, there was a cicada on the curtains, and maybe this was not intentional. I refuse to believe it was like we're going to have that cicada be a person transformed into that later, unless maybe one of them can also turn into a rabbit, and they had this planned all along. I'm a believer in happy accidents. I think Marvel could embrace the WWE storytelling type of thing, where you kind of let it tell itself, and that's part of the fun altogether. And I think that's what made the Infinity Saga so good. And I love hearing those stories as they play out as well. Like, oh, well, this character was here, and then we were like, well, how do we do this with them? We figured out as we go, and the fans are all kind of just in on it too. But yeah, so a cicada reference is seemingly coming into this show and possibly paying off a theory from WandaVision intentionally back then or not. It's working out. I like it.
I would be shocked if that's intentional. I do think to your point of it being like WWE or like the MCU, it's also just like comics. Comics are just this massive group project that just evolves over time, and one person can include one like really minuscule thing in a panel and it can suddenly become a massive story down the line. So I like that if that ends up being where we're going with this.
Yeah.
True. I mean, there were so many weird animal theories in WandaVision, like the senior Scratchy of it all and whatever. So tying it together, I agree, Brandon. You know, it would be nice. That would be kind of cool. I mean, Jack worked on both shows. I'm sure they're aware, at least
Yeah.
partially a way through WandaVision, that hey, you know, we might be doing this. So who's to say? I don't know. I'm just happy that any of the stuff that got laid down is getting picked back up here. That's the most exciting part of this whole show.
If we had the powers of Lilia Calderu, we'd be in much better position with these theories. I was too busy on Monday pointing out that she dated Mordo. She can see the future, by the way. Patti LuPone's character in comics can see the future. We don't know if that's coming to the show, but maybe. We also see a shot of Agatha presumably draining more energy from other witches, turning their sort of goldish powers into her purple energy. We saw that in a flashback, episode 8 of WandaVision. She sucked the powers out of a coven, kind of left them there essentially to die without their powers. And I'm feeling like Agatha's a villain. She just be wiping out these covens, man.
You also have a note in here about like maybe we'll finally see how old she is. I know because in the comics, as a response to WandaVision, they have massively de-aged Agatha. They have very much turned her into a like middle-aged or younger, very conventionally attractive character. And so it would be interesting to now kind of have the reverse happen and like pay tribute to how she is normally portrayed in the comics.
Yeah, like is she just going to become a walking skeleton if they take her powers that she took from other people away?
That
Like
would
maybe
be
she
wild.
has to, yeah, like she has to consume these powers from the other witches to maintain her youth.
Yeah, I mean, if Sam Raimi's directing it, yes.
It's like Melisandre from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, I like that we're going back and like saying that she like has to like re-up on the powers occasionally, and it also explains, I guess, some of the skepticism with her making this ragtag group of like witches. Like, you would have to be really desperate to know she's gonna stab you in the back. You know, it's something about Marvel Studios with protagonists that aren't exactly heroes that you have to cooperate with that might stab you in the back, and you have to go through that. It's fun.
Yeah. So Those are all my notes on this trailer. I think the trailer is great. I think it exceeded expectations. It really successfully. I don't remember where I put this on my hype rankings at the beginning of the year, but I know this trailer bumped it up. It's gonna be a fun end of the year when we compare our landing places for things compared to where we put them in anticipation. But woo wee. So there's a couple things I was wrong. But hopefully this one proves to be as good as the trailer itself. Anything else we want to talk about on Agatha? No?
Not really,
All right.
no.
Well, one more quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. So make sure you're subscribed to the Phase Zero channel on YouTube because all the good stuff happens on YouTube. And we'll see you in just a moment. No spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine still. I promise. I promise. But they're talking a lot. So we're going to talk about them talking with you. Welcome back to Phase Zero. This is mostly the Deadpool and Wolverine section. We have a couple other Marvel topics to talk about before we get to that.
Yeah, so on the topic of the multiverse, of previous movies, of Secret Wars, Jessica Alba has said that she wants to join the MCU. Obviously, she played Sue Storm in the original Fantastic Four movies. I say original, obviously the 90s one exists, but the ones of the 2000s. So to Entertainment Tonight, she said, I loved those movies and it also changed my life, that series. No one has talked to me about a return, but I would jump at the chance. I loved that character and I felt like she was so unique in the Marvel Universe at the time. There weren't kind of female superheroes like her. So at least we know once Secret Wars stuff probably starts falling into place, she would definitely jump at the chance. That's exciting. What do y'all think?
I wouldn't be mad about it.
It's like a nice thing. Go
Yeah.
ahead, BD. Like that's just fun. I love hearing people who are like, no, I really enjoyed being in this. I would like to do it again.
Yeah. In an era where people are taking pride in poo-pooing on Marvel, it's cool that people, even when you were in the not beloved movies, you're like, yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it. Also, only have to be on set for half the time, so
Yeah.
no, they actually are having John Cena do the stunts for Vanessa Kirby in the new Fantastic Four. So there's that. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
We only have him for so much longer. It's okay to make jokes.
Oh man, that was tough. That was tough. That was like, man, we are.
Jenna, here we go.
Old. I forgot for a second what you were talking about, and I was like, "What's happening to John Cena?" I was like so confused, but then I remembered seeing stuff about it. So
the same thing that's happening to all of us. We're getting old. Go.
If that just means he can do the Peacemaker dance like for as long as he possibly wants to, if he can just keep playing Peacemaker forever now, I would be very happy.
What did it cost? Everything. Sad. Speaking of weird, sad things.
Speaking of costing everything.
Oh, dear God. Okay, Variety talked to Emma Roberts about her career and a bunch of other stuff. And of course, they had to talk about Madam Web because we're just going to keep doing it because SEO ruins the internet. And Emma Roberts blames the internet for Madam Web bombing. Things work. Things don't work. Everyone likes to act like they can predict if they're going to work or they're not. And the truth is, you can't. Things do badly, and then they blow up later on TikTok. things do well, but when you watch them, you're like, this did well. There is no secret. It's about doing something good-ish and it hitting at the right time. Everything else is like a wish and a prayer. I'm not intimidated by failure, and I'm not intimidated by people having negative thoughts about something. I personally really love Madam Web. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought everyone in it was great. The director, S.J. Clarkson, I think she did an amazing job. She's the reason I wanted to do that movie. If it wasn't for internet culture and everything being made into a joke, I think that the reception would have been different. And that's what bums me out about a lot of stuff. Even stuff that I've done, is people just make such a joke out of everything now. I have a feeling that our panel has a lot to say. I'm going to get out of the way.
I'll let Brandon go.
I genuinely appreciate what she's saying, and she has valid points, and she said them in a very nuanced, true way. The internet sucks, and once you're on the bad side of the internet or you become the internet's joke, it's a wrap. But Madam Web also sucks. So it just what she said is valid. However, I don't believe it applies to Madam Web. Yes, Madam Web gets torn apart. It's fun to make fun of Madam Web, but in my opinion, because of how bad it was, people poo-pooed on the Marvels and they were having fun making fun of the Marvels. That was wrong. That was what she's talking about, in my opinion. The Marvels was a fine, good movie with good characters. Madam Web was not. And it's not her fault. But like we just said about Jessica Alba, it's nice to see people saying they enjoyed something. So good for you, Emma Roberts. I'm not coming. I hope this, whenever I criticize it, I'm not coming at any individual. I think Madam Web is just not a good movie. And I think Emma Roberts is very well intentioned and very valid in the point she's making, except I don't think the point applies when the movie is just outright not good.
See, I agree with BD to an extent. I do think I'm glad that she has this outlook on it. And I do agree with the point she's making. I do also think with Madam Web in particular, the internet was both a blessing and a curse. Like, as much as there were memes making fun of the movie did have positive word of mouth to an extent of people who opening weekend on Twitter were like, guys, you cannot believe how, like, what this movie is. You need to go see it for yourself. And like seeing those tweets, seeing that kind of engagement, that could only happen with the internet. So like, I do think ultimately at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The movie's still doing well on Netflix. The movie still is what it is. It's probably not going to get a sequel, but I think she has a good outlook on it at least.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah. It's got to be tough to be in that position too, because you join a Marvel movie, you know it's going to get a lot of attention, and it doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go, because apparently they were sold the lie they joined the MCU first of all. But it is what it is. The guns were loaded before Madam Web came out. The internet's guns were loaded and aimed. Like, everybody was ready to fire. And when Madam Web was the worst of the Sony Marvel movies, in my opinion, they all unloaded, reloaded, and shot again. So, I mean, it's down. It's to me, y'all know, I think it's worse than Morbius and even Venom too.
Oh, I know, but, and I think you're alone in thinking it's worse than Morbius, just based off of this panel.
No, on this panel, yeah, but you know, it is what it is. We don't need to spend.
Funny enough, more people have seen Madam Web than Morbius. Absolutely.
That is true.
From my experience online, I think,
and it didn't even need to get re-released in theaters.
Right, exactly. Making hilarity. Like, this is really a segment about Sony when you think about it more than anything else. She got a lot of points though here. I mean, there was like a real, and also outside, just yesterday, I saw some people I did not know who were not from this thing, but were like, you know, media consumer types who were like, that's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it was bizarre. And for that, I love you, Madam Web, like, as like a joke. And they're like not like hating on it like that. They're just like, what a strange, like, it's nice that you could just make a strange movie. Like, everything feels a lot of like, there's a lot of moving parts making a lot of decisions about what makes things now. And there's a sort of weird, like, authenticity to it just being strange, like just being very weird, that I think sticks with a lot of people too. But also, you know, we're never gonna, you know, the internet has said its piece. Yeah, we'll come back in 15 years when we're hosting Phase Zero with gray hair, and it's like Catwoman, where we're talking about it being amazing.
Talking about X-Men 97 season 3. But that said, listen, I don't want to dunk on this movie anymore. I also like
until the next time.
Well, sure. When it comes up, if there is a pass, a lob, I'm not gonna not dunk it. But that said, my policy and everybody. So a criticism I get of myself, like online. I get a lot of people criticize me a lot, but one common one is that, oh, you like everything. Every time you see a movie, you say it's good. And that's just not true. I have been very honest about not enjoying Beverly Hills Cop 4 this year. The Strangers Chapter 1 was trash. Madam Web, I said I didn't like it. I ranked it very low. I was very honest when I saw it. I'm also not going to outright trash things, especially right at the beginning, because yes, I'm probably going to interview people and stuff. If I don't like something, I'll be honest with you, but I'm not going to be mean and trash it before it comes out and stuff like that. I'll tell you I didn't like it. I'll tell you why. And I will try to find positives because I try to find positives in everything that I watch. The thing is, when I don't like something, I typically stop talking about it. I don't bring up Madam Web, but when it does come up, I'll be honest. I'll have fun talking about it. Yes, absolutely. Like Emma Roberts is saying. But go to Twitter and everybody who says you like everything. The Beverly Hills Cop 4 review I posted, which was very honest in how I didn't really care for the movie, only 8,000 impressions. But as soon as I like something and I talk about it more, also 20,000, 30,000 impressions, people engage with that more. Y'all are just not seeing the things I don't like. So I'm not one to want to harp on negativity unless it comes up. So I mean, I think also on Phase Zero, people pick up that we like to like things. I prefer for things to be good. It's more fun if the thing is good, but I'm not going to lie and say I like something I didn't. You guys just don't apparently pay attention to things. Not you guys. The Phase Zero audience probably knows me well enough. But yeah. Anyway. All right. Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Is there one of the viewers wants to know if there's trailer footage? Are we playing trailer footage or no?
I don't think we are.
No, we don't have any trailer
Okay,
footage.
cool. Then you should be good.
And no spoilers in what we're about to talk about. Yeah,
so we won't mention that new shot of Robert Downey Jr. coming back. We're going to leave that out. I cannot believe that they put Scarlett Johansson in the trailer. Peacemaker was there. I couldn't believe that. They got Batman.
They got Grogu.
Did you see
everything.
Invincible was in the background of that one shot? It's crazy.
Dominic Toretto.
Ryan Reynolds, Dominic Toretto,
yeah,
Ryan Reynolds moving mountains to get studio licenses. Look, he even got me a Superman curl for Phase Zero. Gee, wow, let's fix that. Sorry, David Corn Sweat, not trying to steal your swag there, fella. All right. So Kevin Feige, Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, they're going all over the world with this press tour. They've already done a few interviews now. We will have some on Phase Zero, so subscribe to the channel. Kevin Feige had a few quotes out there. Quote, "We were open to anything. Maybe I'm slightly prudish when it comes to drug use, but I was like, it's not that funny." I guess he was asked about the things they can't do. Oh, I have to read this quote, huh? All right. Well, this one's not for the kiddos. There's a line in the Red Band trailer. You don't have to write this in the article, for crying out loud, about pegging. I know what pegging is. I have to say it twice. Great. It's in the first Deadpool movie, but there were people I work with who didn't know what it was. I had to explain it to them. Now, I wish not to go back to WWE. WWE just released a great documentary about the road to WrestleMania.
Ooh.
It showed a lot of the honest reactions about Cody Rhodes finding out, you're probably not going to be champ at WrestleMania because The Rock is coming in. You know, how they cook the stories in WWE. I would love the next Marvel Studios assembled to be as honest as that WrestleMania documentary was. And show us that conversation where Kevin Feige had to explain pegging to the Marvel Studios staff. Oh, that would be hilarious. Could you imagine everyone else in the room just... and then okay. Or do you think he just pulled up the scene from Deadpool 1 and showed Happy International Women's Day?
No, I think he just explained it because it's probably a much quicker conversation. I had to include these quotes in here because I just feel like it shows a shade of Feige's personality that we don't normally get. And this man is very elusive and has a very specific public persona. And just hearing him be honest in the way that he is in these quotes was utterly delightful to me.
Feige's hip, man. Feige's hip. I would to get a beer with Feige and have a completely off the record, candid conversation. I think it would be so fulfilling. He has so much experience. He has such a finger on the pulse. I am a fan of Kevin Feige, the human, not just the producer. I think he's just probably a very fun guy. And I think that this was probably a conversation he probably had. I hope HR was in the room making sure everything was cool, comfy, cozy. But because that could cost you something down the line. Well, Kevin was talking about pet. So yeah. So we're not gonna explain what it is on Phase Zero. We're not even gonna encourage you to Google it because I don't think we can do that. I actually probably advise don't, and definitely don't Twitter search it because there's stuff on Twitter that doesn't get filtered now. So you can, We're gonna move on. Sean Levy talked about MCU connections. Quote, "We want to make the movie for what it needs and not a penny more. Because it's an MCU movie, access to certain characters and mythology was pretty unrestricted. That led to juicy moments and storylines in the movie." End quote. First of all, Sean Levy loves choosing words like juicy. I've noticed that. The way he talks, he loves zesty words like that. So, do we think actors from the MCU, not, I don't know, supporting it? Like, are we going to get some main heroes in new footage in Deadpool and Wolverine? I think so. But am I alone?
Aaron, what do you think?
Man, he's been goosing this whole time. Like, he's been just like throwing coal into that there fire to like, but you don't really need it. It's funny. It's almost like wasting a storytelling device when you don't need to, when everything is already red hot, which happened to me once this weekend already, unfortunately. I think that he's doing a good job because you can't say what is so you gotta go to the thesaurus. Like the thesaurus is out here providing a nice solid backbone for any teases that might occur. Dear God.
I'm 50-50 on new stuff. Like, I think if anything, it might be something like the Thor cameo, quote unquote, that we found out about at CinemaCon. Like, because they also have a quote elsewhere in this interview where they kind of said, like, talking back and forth with Marvel Legal of like, can we use this? Maybe. Can we use this thing we asked for a week ago? Maybe. And like, just kind of the back and forth they had to deal with. So it doesn't sound like it was completely carte blanche, but they had access to a lot of stuff.
Jenna, you make it sound like they go into the legal department and you have to play like a hand of Texas Hold'em to get a character. And if
that's
you
what
just
the quote
crap
made
out,
it sound
whatever. That's what it does sound like.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have to play a children's card game to like get access to, I don't even know, like Human Torch from like the Corman movies. And it's like you have to like play skee ball and get enough tickets and come back and redeem them so we can have, certain characters. I almost said something. I'm not gonna say anything else. Yeah.
This movie's gonna be, man. This feels like a level of Marvel hype we haven't seen since probably Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I dare say I don't know if this is beating that, but the marketing for this has been insane. The hype around this, the analysis of every word. We're seeing coverage of this movie on social media and in the media in ways that we didn't see for a lot of the 2023 movies. Because coverage is determined by how much people are clicking on it. It is business. Yes, there's things you have to cover even if you think people aren't going to click on it, but that's how the media works. I don't know if you're supposed to say it out loud. Sorry if we said the quiet part out loud, but that's the truth of a lot of the media. That's how your news station works. What's going to get ratings, what's going to get clicks, whether it's politics or entertainment, it doesn't matter. So I see so much Deadpool and Wolverine coverage that tells me there is so much audience interest in this movie that it just feels fun to talk about. It feels fun to look forward to it. It has successfully made me more hyped than I was back when they even announced this one. And you remember a photo broke the internet. So just imagine what this is going to do when it comes out. There is some stuff in this movie that's going to be super exciting. The Hot Toys figures. Oh dear God. I hope there are so many, there are people in costumes in this movie that I'm like, I know it's a secret. Were you able to make a figure? Please don't tell me I have to wait till 2027 for that one. So anyway, we talked about them having Marvel cameos in this movie. Will they make cameos in other Marvel movies, specifically Avengers? They were asked by Variety. Ryan Reynolds said, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Sean Levy said, now is where you're going to go to the descriptive part of the article and say they were shuffling in their seats. And Hugh Jackman said, clearly this is our first major interview of the press tour. I'm not sure how to answer. I thought about doing an Australian accent for that, but I didn't. But I mean, To me, you have to do Avengers vs. X-Men. You have to do Secret Wars with all of them, some version of the two comics all in one movie. Maybe more than one movie. But if you don't get the original X-Men, as many are willing, and the original Avengers, as many are willing, in some sort of multiversal story, it's a huge missed opportunity that truly since I was a kid, I wanted that. And I would love to see it happen. I think it's going to happen. Do you think we will see Ryan and Hugh in Marvel movies that aren't Deadpool and Wolverine? Aaron, you're the top.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Recent reporting, and I mean, if you have an existential crisis about playing a character where you have to pull over to the side of the road and then make a call to your best friend, like off the cuff, to play a character again, makes me think that you're not just coming back to play a character one time. That other part of this is the fan reaction slash it was in May expectation of Wolverine is Hugh Jackman, so you ride that horse until you absolutely have to do anything else, because the poor kid is going to get treated worse than Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield were whenever there has to be. Because, I mean, this is like a Taker and Mania situation. How many more of these we really got with Hugh Jackman and the claws and stuff? He's in wild shape for his age. What truly tremendous shape. You have to give hats off. I cannot imagine what the training and the diet must be to maintain that kind of muscle mass at the age he is. It's very, very impressive. But he can't do it forever. We just talk about John Cena. He can't do it forever. So
can't do it
I think
forever,
so.
but can't do it forever. But I say this is not his last time.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to. Yeah.
I feel like he has been a guarantee for Secret Wars for like the longest time, and I feel like since he got brought back in this movie, that has just felt like an inevitability for me. I don't know necessarily if we'll see Deadpool in Secret Wars, but I at least think like just to have the hullabaloo that we're expecting with Secret Wars, Jackman has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that the poster for it is literally going to be Downey, Maguire, Jackman, and that's the poster. And that's all you have to do is put the three faces on it, and you're good. You don't do anything else.
Yo,
easiest marketing budget ever.
I will literally stalk them to their houses to get that poster signed. I will wait outside. Oh man, I think that it's probably this is not Hugh's last time playing Wolverine, and I don't think we've seen the last of Tobey as Spider-Man either. And Ryan, speaking of the future and playing it again, Ryan Reynolds spoke on his future playing Deadpool. I don't know. I could see any version of it. I can imagine a solo movie being a part of an ensemble. I can imagine that this is also the last time. I never feel anything other than that. I think he actually probably is unsure about whether or not, not whether or not he'll play Deadpool again. I think if you were asked him, gun to the head, are you playing it again? Place a bet right now. He would say, yes, I'm going to play Deadpool again. I think he genuinely probably doesn't know where yet, unless it's already filmed and locked in, but I don't think it is. There's a chance he's playing us. I think they have kept the secrets of this movie so damn well, but it's foolish to act like Ryan's done with Deadpool after this. Like, why would he be done? Why in the world would he be done?
I agree. I feel like he's going to get something, but I don't know exactly. He probably doesn't even know at this point, because I'm sure creatively it helps to be able to bounce back and forth between all of the different various projects that he has, and then go back to Deadpool when there's a reason to go back to Deadpool. So also when you think about it, like he has played, not counting X-Men Origins, he has played this role for like almost a decade at this point. And so like I feel like by the time this movie comes out, by the time they consider what the next movie looks like, you kind of have to see like, is there still a story to tell, or is it time to just like hang it up and go home?
Yeah, I think if this thing does the kind of box office that we've been talking about, even on the lower end of your guys' projections for it, there's no way he's not in Avengers. Come on.
The thing is, Deadpool.
Go ahead.
Deadpool fitting into an Avengers movie feels
doesn't matter, but go ahead.
Weird. Like as a character who's in the whole movie, I don't think
he would be in a whole movie.
I don't think he would be a whole character in the whole movie in an Avengers film, but I could see him popping in. Yeah. But then again, who knows? It's just I have a hard time imagining Deadpool's dynamic with the entire roster of Avengers. Granted, it's happened in comics, I know that, but in the movies, it would be weird to see him in a PG-13 Avengers ensemble and developing those relationships and dynamics and all of that. Do I want it? Sure, yeah, but I want Wolverine more. So
I think you're getting both. I think the next big shareholder meeting is their insistence, especially if this thing does what we're talking about. If it's the first billion-dollar Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home, and they own all the rights to it, and they don't have to share the cut with Sony, And people think that you're not going to have them as one of the 50 characters in the next one.
60.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. You're not paying attention to how these things work.
I do also think they're probably still just figuring out the logistics of Avengers 5 and 6. Like, so much of what we don't know at this point, again, maybe a month from now, maybe a couple weeks from now, we'll know something completely different. But like, I'm sure they are locking in as much as they possibly can before we know about it, so that once production has to start on these movies, it can go seamlessly and every single person involved can be able to be in it without having it conflict with other projects.
I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek for a bonus episode that's coming out 2 weeks from now. Why does this movie open that weekend? Why does it open 2 days before we're all going to sit in front of our phones and furiously refresh Brandon Davis's Twitter timeline to see what they're going to say? And why is all of the plot under wraps if this movie does not have anything to do with the big movie that, of course, everybody's expected and excited for? I'm just saying, if you pay attention, like, I don't think there's any real question here. I'm like, I know it's going to be fun when they announce it, but I'm like, prepare yourselves. If it does, 200 million domestic in the first 4 days of this thing?
Possible.
It's a wrap. Someone's going to walk into Iger's office and make him do it. What are you talking about? Literally, Mickey Mouse is going to walk in there and be, oh, they're going in. Like, that's what's going to happen.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see not only that, but how they like the limitations of Marvel movies in 2024 are looked at. Granted, this is the only movie. Like, what are they going to take away from the strategy they applied to this year? What are they going to apply to? Okay, the tone of this movie was adult oriented. Yes, that isn't a draw to a lot of people, but also it's a lot of nostalgia. So it's they have to parse through a lot of the things that make this a success. And we'll see how that all applies. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're going to see more of everything we see in Deadpool and Wolverine if it is successful, I think. And I think it makes sense what Aaron just said about San Diego Comic-Con's timing. And also the fact that this conversation naturally progressed into a conversation about Avengers movies following Deadpool and Wolverine. So we'll see. But that's our show today. Aaron, any last words for today's show?
Oh, goodness. It's at something like Hornet on Twitter. Jamie is so sad that she cannot be with you guys today. She's so salty. She wants you guys to know, stop taking your freaking phone out in the theater and stop ruining people's experiences. And over on comicbook.com, you can read about all the crazy list of 2026 movies that we are now all looking at. Like, my God, Brandon's never going to sleep in 2026, y'all. Y'all better get your fill of him right now. He's not going to sleep the entire summer. There's Toy Story, there's a Shrek, there's an Avengers movie, there's a Star Wars movie, there's like all kinds of crap. Doesn't Fast X Part 2 happen then
Probably.
too? Yeah. We're just gonna strap Brandon into a helicopter and then drop him down Fortnite style into different junkets. So come on down.
Battle bus. Just put me in the battle bus.
Oh, and BD, can we do a sequel to your video? There's a new claw machine.
Oh,
Tell us in the comments you want Brandon to play more of the claw machine.
No.
David, and it has like signed merch and stuff at David Buster's. I was like, I cannot relive this. Woo! So yeah,
Brandon has to come and put numbers into the machine every day, or we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Every 108 minutes. Jenna, any last words for today's show?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics. If you liked our whole Agatha discussion in The Witch's Road, go read The Scarlet Witch by James Robinson run, which is where the concept originated, and it is just a beautiful run in and of itself. So yeah, and echoing Aaron's point and Jamie's point, don't take your phone out of movie theaters.
All right, y'all, that's our show. Thank you so much for hanging with us. To answer your question, Geekfly Quiet Place Day 1 was quite good. I liked it quite a bit. It's in my top 5 for the year, just nudging Abigail out of the conversation. So if you want to see interviews for Quiet Place, they're on the comicbook.com YouTube channel. I'll be covering Twisters this weekend. I'll let you know how that is. We have a huge schedule of upcoming Phase Zero plans, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We will get a graphic of that out for Twitter, and we'll probably post it on the YouTube page just so you can know when you're going to get what you're going to get. Everything, because we have a lot coming up, and there's probably even more. We're trying to book some Phase Zero spotlight episodes for Deadpool and Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy 10-year anniversary right around the corner. So a lot of stuff coming up. So it's a great time to be a Phase Zero listener. We really appreciate you guys because it makes it a great time to be a Phase Zero host and producer. So thank you for the opportunities you all provide us. Almost 800 people watching the show live right now. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, youtube.com/c/Phase Zero. Hit me up on Twitter at Brandon Davis BD if you want to talk more. Play our show for your mom, play it for your dog, anything to help the numbers go up so we can get more fun opportunities in the future. We'll see you at San Diego Comic-Con soon, but we have plenty more to talk about before then. So see you on Monday for our X-Men movie rankings episode. Later.